It's estimated a woman is beaten by her partner every 9 seconds in this country. That harrowing domestic violence statistic has gotten worse during the pandemic, but these women want to get the message out that there is help, even during COVID. Amber Cagliano has details.
The photos are hard to look at. A young mother nearly beaten to death. The alleged attacker, her ex-husband, Corey Ater.
My ex-husband was probably the textbook abuser. He was verbally abusive, he was sexually abusive, he was physically abusive. Anything that he needed to do in order to get control, he would do.
Melissa says he broke into her house at night and tortured her for 16 hours until she finally escaped.
Did you think he was going to kill you?
Absolutely. It was very terrifying, just waiting basically to die.
Ater was charged with multiple counts of domestic violence, sexual assault, and kidnapping. He has pled not guilty, but Melissa fears that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, he will be released from jail early as he awaits trial.
I am deeply afraid of that. I think that's probably my biggest fear right now.
How has COVID-19 made things worse for you?
Nobody knows when we'll be able to have that trial. So it's significantly impacted my life. I think of the women that are locked up with their abusers right now, and I just couldn't imagine, and that anxiety, it still hits me.
She is now in hiding.
COVID-19 is impacting victims and survivors of domestic violence like never before. Experts say the isolation, the financial strain from soaring unemployment and lockdown orders are all combining to create a pandemic within a pandemic.
Zaria Clayton is brought to tears reliving the horrible abuse she says her mother Shanae suffered at the hands of her estranged boyfriend during the pandemic. She says this disturbing video she recorded of Roderick Washington is an example of the verbal abuse he'd unleash.
Did you say, Mom, I'm afraid he's going to kill you?
That was ultimately my worst fear.
Tragically, that fear came true during the early days of the pandemic. Washington allegedly gunned Shanae down when she tried to leave him. He's pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder.
Cancer couldn't take her down, COVID couldn't take her down, but domestic violence did. And that's what breaks my heart the most.
Katie Ray Jones is the CEO of the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
How has COVID changed and even complicated domestic abuse?
What we've seen from survivors is that the abuse has increased in intensity and in frequency. We've had nearly 22,000 individuals reach out and indicate that COVID is being used as a strategy in their relationship to either further intimidate, isolate, create fear, and abuse the survivor themselves.
If you're the victim in an abusive relationship, what should you do?
If you need help, guidance, reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. There are staffed advocates there who are prepared to be a listening ear, offer non-judgmental support, and really give support to help you make the choices that are right for you and your family.
Now, as the coronavirus crisis continues, these two brave women just want other victims to know they are not alone.
I want to stop it from happening. I want to do whatever I can to prevent anybody else from having to experience that.
If you're in danger, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-SAFE. That's 800-799-7233, or go to thehotline.org. Calls are toll-free and confidential.